This tutorial is for all you crazy people out there who actually think I know what I'm doing when I'm making saddles. To make any saddle, you want to start off with a tree. And this is just one of those little spoons, little wooden spoon thing that you use when you get, like, Haagen-Dazs or something. Get little ice cream containers. Sometimes these will come with it. And you just break it in half, and then you have the beginning of your tree. Next, you decide what you want to make your saddle out of. Just any kind of cloth or material that you can find that you can cut. But, the more it looks like leather, the better, obviously. Another thing that's really good to have is hot glue. I go through this stuff really fast. It's really good to use for making saddles because it dries really quickly. The little problem is, it can burn you. I just burned myself really badly last week, so yeah, always be safe with the hot glue gun. I actually don't have a pattern, so please do not ask me for the pattern. I don't have one. I make it up. Alright? Alright. What I do is I'll take a saddle that's already made, usually not one I've made, but I'll just stick it on the leather or whatever I'm using and trace it out. So what I've done here, I've made my regular saddle piece. I made a piece to go on the bottom. And I made this piece that the girth is going to attach to. Okay, you'll want to start off making your saddle seat. So you take your tree, and this is just fun foam. The color really does not matter because you're just going to be covering it up. Here's what I did. I glued on my little pieces. And it does not have to be pretty. Like I said, the color does not matter. And if you got little glue string sticking out, that's okay. So when you put the seat on, and you glue it down, it'll look like that. But don't glue it down just yet. You still have a few more steps. Alright, for the seat of my saddle, I want to use this material because it'll look kind of cool when it's done. So I'll put the material with the top down, and I'm going to glue this little seat pad to it. Alright, so you people better appreciate this. I burned both my thumbs making this tutorial. Here's my finished saddle seat. I glued the material to it, and I left some material around the edges so that I could fold it over. Just wanted you all to see, I also put the material on the back so it will hide all that unsightly red stuff. As I stuck this leather part over my saddle, and I glued it on top of the red front section, and then I stuck the little leather loop around it. So now it looks like this. So here it is upside down. I'm going to glue on the girth leathers. So if I can get my glue gun to work. Oh, it worked a little too well. Okay. Now I want this side down. Let's try and get it centered. And don't touch the spot with the glue on it. Use a tool, scissors or something. So I made a teardrop shaped piece of leather that's going to go on the underside. And make it about as long as your saddle and a little bit longer so that you can wrap it up. Okay, so I glued my teardrop piece and brought it over, glued it to the top, and I put a bunch of glue on the top. Now I'm going to put the seat on. You want to make sure it's pushed down I decided to make some knee rolls. I took some sheepskin and I cut them to fit my saddle flaps. Okay, so this is the saddle so far. I have the flaps glued on. This is what the back looks like. What the underneath looks like. Probably we'll want to put stirrups on at some point, so here's what we do. Alright, so I glued really small little jump rings here at the base of my saddle to use to put my stirrups on. Okay, so this is probably the easiest way to get around the stirrup leather problem. Just glue one end of the leather underneath the saddle, bring it down, put your stirrup on. Yes, I know my stirrups are crappy. I can't buy them right now. They're too expensive, so I have to make my own. And you bring it back up, loop it through your jump ring, and then stick the end out the keeper. I usually try and put something right here to keep both ends of the leathers from splitting apart. So put like a bead or some wire or something. Last thing I'm doing here is I'm making these little pieces that go on the top part of the saddle to cover up all the mess with the stirrup leather. And what you want to do is put glue around along the top of it. And be really, really careful when you're putting it on that you don't get the glue into this section, because if you do, your stirrup leather will not be adjustable anymore. If you haven't made it adjustable, then don't worry about it. What I mean by adjustable is like if you pull this little section, the stirrup gets shorter. The leather gets shorter, not the stirrup. So, yeah. Just be really careful. Also, what I did was I took a piece of leather and I just cut it into the shape I wanted. And I put a little tiny brad. I got these little brads at a scrapbook shop. It's just a little metal brad, and I just stuck it through the leather. And it makes this really nice little decoration. It kind of adds some realism to the saddle. So here's the saddle, pretty much finished. Add a girth to it. You can poke holes in the leather strap here, or you can just leave it like that, depending on what kind of buckle you use. And I'm going to leave it up to you to figure that one out. I hope your saddles turn out better than mine did. Thank you for watching.